Hey guys, Mike Toy Bonsai Boise. So today I got a fun little project I'm going to attempt, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time showing you me actually doing it. I'm going to show you the before and the after. So here's what it is. It's an automatic sprinkler setup for my bonsai benches. So I did a little research on it, and it's really not that hard from the sound of it and looks of it. Now, who knows what's going to happen when I dive in, but I'll give you a look at all this stuff, and then I'm going to go and actually dive in and do it, and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. So let me get this open here. Okay, so I got me a little handy razor blade here. I'm going to try and do this without cutting the actual hose. I don't know if it's considered a hose or a pipe at this point. Kind of a little of both, but yeah, so I looked around. I found some on Amazon. The ones on Amazon were starting around 35 or 40 bucks, but I don't really like buying from Amazon. I try to buy locally if I can, although I got this at a big box store, which probably isn't much better. But still. So I got this at Lowe's. Altogether, this setup was about 75 bucks. So it was a little more than the cheapest one on Amazon, but it's a little better too. And I got some extra pieces. So I got some extra coupling pieces. I got an adapter here. So I'm not going to be hooking this up to the hose spigot on the side of the house. It's actually going to go on the irrigation. So I've been watering my trees all this time from the hose, which is, just tap water. So now they're going to get irrigation water, which is both cheaper and better for the trees. So inside here, what we've got, actually before I go inside, I'll tell you, we got 50 feet of 1/2-inch pipe / hose here. And then I bought an additional 25 feet of 1/2-inch hose. Different colors, yeah, but I'm going to put this part under the bench so it doesn't look weird. That's all they had left. The whole aisle was ransacked. People had gone through and gotten just about everything. But we've got these little nozzles here. I still haven't really looked to see how this works yet, but it looks fairly straightforward. You run the 1/2-inch hose down the whole line of trees, and then these pieces here, it reduces down to a 1/4-inch hose, and then these just come off of that long 1/2-inch hose. So let me pull some of this out, give you a quick look, and then I'm going to get to it. We'll just see how it works. Got some pieces here, so that's just, you just kind of stake that in, and the 1/2-inch hose goes on that. I take it. Some other valves and that kind of thing. So it's nothing too exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it and try and put this together, and then I'll give you a look at it afterwards, assuming I finish tonight. I may not finish it tonight, so it might take me an extra day. So either way, I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, so give you a little midway point update here. I got a very crude setup right now. It's not fine-tuned. I'm going to have to spend some time fine-tuning this, because as you can see, like I paid no attention to what nozzles were on there. This is like a 1/2 circle. The other one's like a 1/4 circle. So I got to go through and figure that part out and fine-tune it quite a bit. There's some trees that aren't being hit, but figured I'd give you just a quick look. So over there was just a capped off irrigation, where a sprinkler head was at one point. It was just capped off. So I just hooked the hose up to that. So this is irrigation water, not tap water, so it's better for the trees and it's cheaper. And then it's just a 1/2-inch hose running this way. And then coming off this long 1/2-inch hose are these little 1/4-inch connectors. I just stuck it in an old pot there, and as you can see, it's working. To be honest, I was nervous when I turned it on because there's just so many fail points in it. It's like I'm poking holes in the hoses, and I'm hooking up connectors and connectors on top of other connectors, and I'm going, man, this could just fail at any point. But I was pleasantly surprised that it is working. Conceptually, that is. Okay, so let me give you a look at some of these, and I'll give you a few tips. So in this bucket kit, I'll call it my bucket kit that I got. It came with a lot of stuff. Tip number one is measure out how long of an area and how many, maybe it's easier for you to figure out square feet, but for me it was linear. I just figured out how many linear feet I needed, and then go based on that. Look for a kit that's got all the pieces, and here's why. While this kit was maybe 40 bucks, I spent easily over 100 when it was all said and done. I ended up buying more stuff after the first part that I showed you, because there's just little pieces. It's like, oh, this one came with 8 blues and 5 reds. I actually needed 9 blues and 4 reds. And so then you go and you buy a little kit like this, and then when you open up the kit, you realize, oh, these ones are slightly different, whereas this one has a, see if I can get it here, whereas this one's got a male adapter here. This one might be female, or in this case it might be threaded. So there's just lots of little things like that, and this kit has little adapters and stuff too, so maybe you'll get lucky and you won't need to, you won't be missing anything. But I could definitely do the whole thing again more efficiently. So it was a learning experience, and it cost me a little more the first time around, but if you can, it's better to just buy one larger kit than to piecemeal a whole bunch of little stuff like I did. Just because things sometimes don't match up quite exactly right, and it's hard to know exactly what you're going to need. So if you buy one large kit for 50 bucks, 60 bucks, 70 bucks, you might be better off. All right, so let me give you a look at how this works. So here I've got just some leftover tubing. So here I've got this 1/2 inch hose, 1/4 inch hose, little spray nozzles, an adapter, little hole poker, and this thing. So let's say you've got this running down the line of your trees and you want to hook one of these up. You take your little hole poker, give you one guess at what it does. Did you guess pokes a hole? You guessed right. So this is where the adapter goes. Now I learned the hard thing to do is to poke this in first and then try to get this in. So instead, put this on here. I'm going to set the camera down while I do it because I've only got 2 hands. 1 second. There we go. Utilized both hands and got it. So now that I've got the adapter in the 1/4 inch hose part, if I can get it to focus, you'll feel it kind of snap. There we go. Felt it snap in right at the last second. And that's what it looks like. Now, I remember being worried when I was doing this initially. I mean, there's no like gasket or anything like that. I thought, man, are these things gonna leak? But they didn't. I mean, at no point did they leak. So there we've got that part in. Figure out how much length you need. Let's say it's right here. Figure out how much length you need. Make the cut. And then this piece goes into, boy, I really should have brought my tripod. Goes into there. I'm gonna set this down for a second. I'll put it in. There we go. So just like that. And then you stick this either, in the ground if yours are on the ground. I just got some extra pots and filled pots with rocks and put this in the rock pot, wherever I needed it. So that's really all there is to it. So again, you just run this 1/2 inch pipe down the entire length, poke a hole, stick the 1/4 inch hose, space them however you need them spaced, hook the other end up to your sprinkler head, and that's it. Then you can adjust these. This is more or less stationary, whereas these ones are, you can move them around however you need to. So that's the gist of how that works. Okay, so from there, that's a sprinkler head over there that I hooked it into. Then the hose wraps around here under my little gate, my little puppy gate, so dogs don't come back here and eat bonsai trees. And then basically this whole line just runs the length where the benches are, and then this is the 1/2 inch line, and then off of this 1/2 inch line is 1/4 inch line. And the 1/4 inch hose just runs along to whatever sprinkler head you hook it up to. And the sprinkler heads come in all different, I'll call it a spray radius. This one here is a half circle, if I remember right. We'll know here in a second. But then there are the full circle ones, and there's quarter circle ones, and it takes some messing around and figuring out to see, you know, what you need to put where. So yeah, there's really no like perfectly no perfect way to duplicate it and just say, here's a blueprint, go do exactly this. Because if you're anything like me, you've got all different kinds of bonsai trees, you know, all mixed up with each other. I don't have like all the maples here and so forth, and they're all different sizes, and so you just kind of have to customize it. But I will say too, you can move these around in this little kit that I'll show you. It's got plugs, so if you accidentally put one that you don't, you know, where you don't want it, you're like, oh no, that's not where I wanted that at all, you can just pull it out, take the plug it right back in. Luckily I didn't have to do that at all, but it does have that option. So let's look at it here. Let's go turn it on and I'll show you what it looks like when it's running. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna take one for the team here and get wet in the process. Here it goes. So again, the hose just comes along here. As you can see down there, got a half circle one. This guy here is also a half circle. It sort of plays tricks on you a little bit when you're first setting it up, because as you're looking at it, you're like, wow, when I water these trees, I really douse them, and it looks like this isn't really getting them very wet. But after 20 minutes of this, they're all pretty wet. So maybe that's just me that thought was going through my head, but you might think the same thing when you're doing it. Yeah, so that's really kind of it. I mean, some of these spots, that's another thing that's sort of playing tricks on me, is that it doesn't look like it's getting it even at all. Like this one here, I messed with it, I remember, for a while, thinking I don't see any water getting to it, but it really is. And it's kind of just getting up there into the leaves and then dripping down. So it's still getting it. It's gonna bug me. That one. So yeah, I can tell you that I haven't checked on these in a week. I don't know if I would recommend doing that right off the start, but I know I got it all hooked up. I think it was Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday, and then I tested it. Everything looked good. I thoroughly tested it. And then Monday, I didn't bother to check on them. I was a little nervous because, you know, a lot can go wrong with something like this. One hose thing can get clogged or something, and then, you know, that's 3 or 4 trees not getting watered for a couple days. So things can go wrong. I checked on it Tuesday, and now it's, well, I guess it's Friday. So it's been 3 days, not a week. Feels like a week. It's been 3 full days. So I guess I would recommend kind of doing the same thing. Don't jump right into assuming everything's good, because you just don't know right off the bat. But yeah, in this case, it ended up all being good. So yeah, this one there, I got 2 of them in there, a bubbler and a spray, and then I got some down here. So let me show you how these would work. See, this hose just runs all the way out here. This is that crabapple tree, some potatoes. I am in Idaho after all. And the corkscrew willow. So I have to do some cleanup here. Obviously I got pipes and hoses running everywhere. Which, on that note, I will say that this is not a pretty setup. It's just functional. So I can redo it, and I will redo it so that it is a little prettier, a little more hidden. You can't really see them quite as well. But that'll probably be in the spring that I do that. I didn't really want to empty everything out and put it all up and then put it all back. Like, I didn't know how it's going to go. So year 1, I just wanted to get it functional, which I did. And year 2, I'll spruce it up and make it a little pretty.